Good morning. I am here at Wallace Falls State Park, and today I'm going to be showing you one of the most popular waterfalls in the state. I am going to be going to Wallace Falls, but I'm going to make it a little more interesting. I've made this into a loop hike, so we're going to be taking the woody trail up to Wallace Falls, and we're going to be going past that to Wallace Lake and making a fun little loop hike. And looking at 11 miles round trip with roughly 2,000 feet of elevation gain. This should be a really beautiful trail. Let's get going. There's our first look at the Wallace River. The forecast today calls for rain. Not too much rain, but there is basically a winter storm warning for the rest of the state, which is why we're staying low this weekend. And we are in for quite a treat because there are a lot of beautiful river viewpoints, small creek waterfalls, and then of course the main event, Wallace Falls. And then further up, we're going to be getting to Wallace Lake, which is a lake that drains into the Wallace River. Here's one of our first river viewpoints. Beautiful. I just took a quick spur off the main trail, and behind me it takes you to Small Falls, which is one of the first really fun features on the trail here. Don't walk past it. Now that the trail has met up with the Wallace River, it actually follows the river, just climbing up along the sides of the bank until we get to the falls. So this is the part where the trail starts getting really, really beautiful. And it is really cool seeing this trail in winter. I've done this trail before, but it is so mossy. This is one of the great things about lowland hikes in the winter is you really get to appreciate the moss. Can already get a sense of the elevation we've gained because the river is way down there now. We were right next to it not too long ago. One of the great things about this trail is since it's a state park, it has a lot more features. There are so many beautiful viewpoints along the way of the river and other cool features. And there are also lots of benches and stuff. You'd actually be able to sit down and enjoy the view. I'd say I think this is a really good beginner hike because it does have, it's beautiful first of all, so you get a lot of reward, and it does have those benches so you can really take your time, have a nice rest whenever you need it. The elevation on this trail is pretty easy. There's nothing too crazy, especially not before you get to the lower falls. That bridge crossing back there is one of many, but I think it's probably the best one over the beautiful fork of the Wallace River. So cool. And things aren't very muddy today. I haven't been getting rained on anywhere near as much as the forecast called for, so I've actually been able to get quite a bit of trail running in, making good progress. Should be at our first look at the falls soon. To the Lower Falls overlook. If you can hopefully hear me over this crashing water, it gives you a look at the Upper Falls and the beautiful river just crashing down. It's really cool. And not only that, at this point you have this great picnic shelter, which I believe it says was constructed as part of a Boy Scout problem, Youth Development Conservation Corps. Yeah, so there's a really great picnic shelter to enjoy, especially nice on a rainy day. And there are 3 waterfall viewpoints. This is the lower one. We're going to be going to the middle and upper soon and getting a good look at this waterfall. So I made it to the middle viewpoint. I think this is like the one where you're getting the best view of the waterfall itself really close up. It is so cool. It's a really nice, beautiful, tall waterfall. And I think it's a really good idea to come see it in the winter when it's like really gonna be crashing down. Save this for the fall and winter when the rain comes. Don't do this in summer when it's gonna be a lot less spectacular, because I think that this during the rain is the best time to see it. But there is an even higher viewpoint, so we keep climbing. So behind me is the Lower Falls, and if you're not impressed when you've seen it at the Lower Falls and the Mid Falls, you gotta come to the Upper Falls. Looking down on that is crazy. It's such a cool drop off. Okay, so that back there that I showed you was the Upper Falls viewpoint. I guess there are two viewpoints for the Middle Falls, so I misidentified one of them as the Upper Falls viewpoint. All of them are amazing. There's definitely, it's definitely steepest to get between the Middle and Upper Falls, but now I am on the trail to get to Wallace Lake. I'm about 2.5 miles in, and I've got another 2 miles to go to get to the lake. And I've done most of the elevation gain though, but the trail beyond here is considerably more difficult to follow, but I have navigation, but the lake should be beautiful. So it seems, since the trail is hard to follow, they have put white diamond markers on the trees to help you navigate on the trail up to the lake, which is very helpful, similar to what they have on Mailbox Peak Old Trail. So important to stay aware at this part of the trail because it might be easy to just kind of wander off. So I just came up this trail to where it connects with this older maintenance road. Shows the sign for the woody trail for Wallace Falls. And now what I'm going to be doing is following this, and it will take me all the way up to Wallace Lake. I think the trail is going to get considerably easier. I think that last connector bit from the Upper Falls to this point was probably the hardest. It's pretty steep, and the trail is in a bit of disrepair. I don't think a lot of people take that way, so you gotta pay attention for navigation. But now we're on a beautiful mountain road walk up to the lake. So I just came off the road. There's this area where they've done some logging and kind of cleared away this face of the hill, and it is a fantastic view of the valley. Just gorgeous. Definitely better than some of the valley viewpoints on the Wallace Falls Trail. Now, this comes with, you know, looking at the ugly logging, but wow, the view is not bad. Man, this is some good snow. It's doing the good crunch crunch. So I'm now completely walking on snow. However, it's just like, what, half an inch, maybe in some places where it hasn't been disturbed, it's up to 2 inches, but it's not gonna get much deeper than that. And we are almost to the lake, so maybe we'll get some really pretty views of a snowy Wallace Lake. I made it to Wallace Lake. As you can see, I am the only one here. I think I saw a backpacker going to one of the campsites, but I'm at one of the main viewpoints, just crossing this beautiful bridge where the lake is draining out, and it's a much prettier lake than I was expecting. It's basically, I guess, a foothills lake. It's not an alpine lake, but it is still a beautiful little foothills lake, and this turned out to be kind of perfect as far as conditions went. It didn't rain anywhere near as much as I was expecting, and we even saw a little bit of sun. Didn't get more than a couple inches of snow, and it was fun getting to walk on some snow, even though like the mountains are in pretty dangerous conditions right now. All in all, definitely worth coming up here, especially if you want to avoid the crowds at Wallace Falls. Here is the area with the viewpoint of the lake where I just came from. This trail actually takes you up further along the lake, and there's actually another lake beyond Wallace Lake called J Lake. And this trail is the trail I am taking to make this into a loop hike. Wow, so there's some pretty good viewpoints on this trail on the way back down too. Gosh, I have to say, this part of the trail is beautiful. It is carpeted in moss. It is so green. Oh my gosh, I just love it. It's all carpeted, and there's so many different varieties as well. It's just making this section so gorgeous. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be trail running back down the rest of the way to the car. Out of the snow, there really isn't any mud on the trail, so I should be good to just run these last 2 miles. So, I'm almost off of the trail that's gonna connect me back to the main Wallace Falls trail. It's, I believe, called the Greg Ball Trail, and wow, all I can say is this has been a mossy wonderland and just an overall joy of a trail. I've had it all to myself, and ooh, I gotta say, the moss, it's so beautiful. If you come on this trail, you will not be let down. It's very pretty. But like I said, I only have a half mile left to go, and then I'll be back down at the car. Should be a really quick run. I made it back down to the car just in time for it to start raining more. I really lucked out on the weather. My raincoat spent more time just keeping me warm up top than actually protecting me from the rain, but I was glad I had it. And I completed the loop. This was a great lowland adventure. Wallace Falls obviously never disappoints. I highly recommend coming to see it in the fall or the winter, because then you're gonna get like a really full falls, or early spring when the snow is starting to melt higher up, because you want to see it like when it's really crashing down. And don't skip out and just stay at the lower one. If you're up for more climbing, it's worth climbing to the middle and upper falls. And Wallace Lake was a really fun addition. But I will say, if you are just wanting to do Wallace Lake, the Greg Ball Trail is the way to go. That trail was beautiful. It was so mossy. I know some people may not care about moss, but here in the Pacific Northwest, we take moss very seriously. So it was just gorgeous. And I would definitely want to go that way, both ways, up to Wallace Lake if I wasn't making it a loop. But it was really fun to make it a loop because then I just got to see kind of all of the best features that Wallace Falls State Park has to offer. Yeah, and it took me 4 hours and 5 minutes to complete the entire loop. I think the mileage on this was a little bit off. I think it was closer to 10 miles, not 11. I'll have to check maps again because I think my GPS might be off, but I'm not really sure it was quite 11 miles. Once again, I'll have to see, and I'll put also a link to the All Trails track that I use to do this loop, because there are a lot of trails here at Wallace Falls State Park and a lot of kind of ways you can kind of craft your own adventure. So I will have that down below as well if you are also wanting to do the loop. Perfect rainy day hike. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did like this, you can give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to follow more on-trail adventures in Washington State. Here are my favorite pictures from the trail. Enjoy.